Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the program, no matter where in the world you are today. I decided to do this as a live stream just because normally I record it and then I chop it up and edit it. And you guys are always complaining that I give you the edited version. So we'll do it live over here and then I'll chop it up and edit it for over to YouTube. So YouTube, once again, as always, when you see this later over there, if you'd like to see it live, you'd like to participate in the chat, you'd like to hear this unedited, etc., you got to get off YouTube and get over to Locals or at least rumble.com. So modern women have completely detached from reality. As you guys know, I spend a full work schedule, probably I'd say 60 hours a week, AIS, which is ass in seat, going through X and the web looking for stories and information to share. And I get to see a lot of news. I probably see 10,000 tweets a day. I get to see at least a couple dozen news articles. And you start seeing trends in things. Because if I just pull out a video of a crazy lady, you go, okay, well, that's a crazy lady. Thanks, dude. But when there's a trend forming, it becomes easy to see. And that way you can kind of see where society is headed, at least. And recently I noticed something that when all this feminism first came out and all the hate against men first came out, men were kind of taken aback. We didn't know quite how to handle this. Is it women really do hate us? Is there something wrong with us? Is this just social contagion? Like, what is going on here? And I think it took a couple of years, maybe a decade, for men to kind of realign to the new normal and to understand the world they're in, which was going from, oh, I'm nice to women, I like women. I like to date women and maybe be married and have kids someday, although smart men don't get married. And then over time it becomes, oh, we're in a different world now. Because the more power that women get and the more in control of dating and government and social issues and television and the internet, we see that they start going crazy, like crazy with power. And they start hating on men and they start saying all these vicious, awful things about men. And feminism just kind of went wild. It infected the school systems. It's infected everything. Now I think we're to the point where men have seen what's going on and we're starting to put our foot down. Not all men. There's still a lot of simps still and blue pill guys and feminist aligned men. But men that have a spine, men that have a backbone, men that actually have more than 4 brain cells to run together, understand what's going on, and they say, no more. We're pushing back. We're not listening to you because you're crazy and you're insane. And as more men start to do this, women are reacting like children. They're lashing out. They're doing the duck hands or the bill hands while they're talking to you. They're getting the crazy eyes like you see on this thumbnail, because she actually is singing a song in this clip, which is kind of crazy, but we'll play it in a minute. And they realize that they can't control you with their emotions anymore, and they have no logic to reach out to men because men think on a higher level than women do. Women think like grown-up children. It's emotions, it's talking down to you, it's being condescending to you, it's being insulting to you. And most men, at least if they have a point and understand what's going on, they can speak to logic. And logic doesn't connect to women's emotion. And that makes women very angry because we can talk circles around them in logic. Not to get into the politics side of this, but we will be to some degree in this video because women have gone nuts. When it comes to politics and everything else, you see these men on the street interviews where a guy will say, do you believe in X? And one will say, yes. And he says, but what about this? And what about this? And what about that? And he starts asking and making them make connections with their logic circuitry that doesn't normally connect to each other. And then you hear them say, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Or, well, you're just a, I don't know, a MAGA person, or you're just a misogynist. Or I'm not talking to you anymore. And they shut down the conversation because to continue on would force them into circular logic and they would break down like a robot trying to divide by zero. A good example of this, and maybe a good place to start, is to show you how long this has been in history. Now, the lotus eaters in Greek mythology, this isn't specifically talking about women. It's talking about escapism and wanting to leave the harsh realities of the world and get into an ephemeral paradise where you don't have to really worry about what's going on around you, and you can just escape to dreamland. Let me read this little section, and then we're going to relate that to modern women, because their escapism is in feminism. It's in social groups at colleges, and predominantly, overwhelmingly, it's on their phones now. It's their social media accounts. And we'll look into that a little bit. I won't take too long to read this, but the Lotus Eaters are a mysterious people encountered by Odysseus and his crew after leaving Troy during their long journey home from Ithaca. And this is from Homer's Odyssey in Book 9. When Odysseus sent a small scouting party ashore on the land somewhere off the North African coast, the native Lotus Eaters welcomed them peacefully and offered them sweet honey-like fruit of the lotus plant. Anyone who ate the lotus immediately lost all desire to return home or to even continue living in the real world. They forgot their past, their families, their duties, and their ambitions. And that's key right there. I want you to remember, because I've got, 30 clips I'm going to play and videos and stories. I want you to remember through all of this, forgetting their past, forgetting their families, forgetting their duties, their ambitions, forgetting reality. The drug-like effect was not violent or painful. It was blissful apathy. The eaters simply wanted to stay forever on the island, lying in the sun, eating more lotus, and drifting in pleasant, dreamlike detachment from all responsibility, pain, memory, and striving. Now, if we relate this to today, this is a write-up I put on X the other day after watching a woman completely melt down. I'm going to play this woman's meltdown. It is about a minute long. And then I'm going to read you what I wrote, just because sometimes when I just speak like I do in my videos off the top of my head, you guys know very well, you make fun of me all the time. I have a tendency to repeat myself. I stumble over words because that's what I do. But I wrote it down because I wanted to make sure it was very succinct, because I think this is a very clear definition of what's happening. Anyway, let me modulate the audio so I don't blow your ears out. Just a second.
I gotta say that there is a special place in hell for, it's always old white men that yell at you while you're trying to parallel park in Manhattan.
Okay, so she's trying to parallel park in Manhattan, and she says, why is it that it's always old white men that are yelling at you when you parallel park? Now, I don't know about you. I've been to Manhattan multiple times. I've walked through Manhattan back when it was safe, a long, long time ago, probably close to 10 years now. I've walked through Manhattan. I don't recall seeing a lot of old white men lurking about on the corners of the streets of Manhattan to wait for a woman to parallel park, fail the task, and then we yell it, and then they yell at her. Now, but why is she saying specifically old white men? Because that's the dog whistle. That's the whistle of, hey, everybody, I'm progressive. I don't like white guys. I don't like old men. I don't like old men. That's the patriarchy, everybody. That's her little dog whistle. But she's broken down in tears because apparently she can't parallel park, and it was so bad that everybody decided to yell at her.
And I'm a new driver. I really, really hate parallel parking in the city, and it's always scary, and I always force myself to do it because I know I need to learn. And it's been a month since I started driving lessons, and normally I feel like I handle it quite well, but today I had a hard day at school, and it just broke me. And I'm making this video because I know it's frustrating when you're a good driver and there's someone in front of you who's struggling. But why be so mean? You don't know their story. I learned at 29, struggling a bit.
Okay, so she goes on crying about why everybody's mean to her and she's struggling as a new driver and everything else. Let me ask you a question. All things aside about the old white men and all that, why does this video exist? Why is she crying on a TikTok or Instagram video Why is she crying to the world about her life story? And I'll tell you why. Because she doesn't have a real life anymore. A lot of these women don't have real lives anymore. They've detached from reality. They're living in a dream world. And they are disconnecting from the real world because it's uncomfortable. Because the real world is harsh. And there are other people out there that have opinions. And they disagree with you. And they'll argue with you. And they'll try to use math and science to prove you wrong. And when you live in a world, or trying to live in a world of feelings, you're going to find out that you're going to fail. You're actually going to fail trying to live like that, because that's like a child living in the real world today. Mommy, why is the sky blue? Right? Now, are you going to actually explain about oxygen and hydrogen and the reflection of oceans into the atmosphere and wavelengths of red versus blue light? No, you're not going to get any of that. You're not going to get any of that to a child, because they don't understand that. So you just say, well, God made it pretty blue, so you'd enjoy it. And then you move on. And you'll notice that's how these women are living now. They're living in their parallel world. Anyway, this is what I wrote, and specifically about this video, but about all these videos. What we're looking at is a complete inversion and breakdown of reality for modern women. Comforting, performative narratives feel safer than messy reality. It's become a digital echo chamber that delivers the sensation of community without any of the obligations. What did she mean by it was specifically old white men? Because she knows it would be a dog whistle to all the progressives, the feminists, and the radicals that would come and pat her on the back and cheer on her hate and divisiveness. It has nothing to do with the story, yet it feels good to find solidarity with others of the same hate. For a growing share of women, their fake online self has overtaken the actual self. Their social media timeline is now the diary, the therapist, the friend, and the family that they no longer have in the real world due to choices they've made because of progressivism, feminism, and social pressure. The instant positive validation from strangers online outweighs the real feedback from people who actually matter, or, God forbid, might even get pushback or criticism. This is why many will block or set profiles to private when they get ratioed against their bad ideas, like on X or Instagram, because rather than change their perspective or hear uncomfortable truths, they'd rather silence the critics and hide in their little holes of ideologically radicalized followers and the 50% of bots that egg them on. That feedback loop has real-world consequences. We see it in voting patterns that run counter to economic or self-safety interests, such as Mamdani in New York City, allowing thousands of rapist immigrants entering their countries. In moral grandstanding on race or culture that leaves these women worse off, and worse of all, leaving them feeling proud in their own poor decisions. Each choice is optimized for likes, not real-life outcomes. Every heart, retweet, or slay queen releases a tiny hit of dopamine. Over time, that reward becomes more reliable and enjoyable than anything the offline world can actually offer. The real world gets deprioritized, then ignored, then actively undermined if it threatens the supply of narcissistic positive reaffirmation. I'd like to say it's not malice, but rather an addiction to a virtual reward system. But in reality, I think there's actual excitement in being a hateful human being to others while getting the feel-good love and attention from the digital strangers with their minds twisted in views of the world. The nicest compliment I had to anyone ever, somebody replied to this, you didn't write this, I've read it before. That was a nice compliment. The other one was, this must be AI, because probably they listened to my content and realized that I don't speak this clearly and nicely when I'm speaking. But no, I actually took about an hour. I wrote this down. I looked up several words, how to spell them, and the meanings of a few more words because I'm a retard. So anyway, what's the point of this? The point is that women now get cheered on by being very hateful and being very bad to men. They get cheered on for propping up immigrants coming into the country that are stealing jobs from both young men and young women. They're crashing the housing market because there's not enough places to live. Like, we could point out all the reasons why it's hurting women, but they don't care because that's the real world, and the real world is ugly. The real world is painful. Not everybody's going to get the Hello Kitty sticker. Not everybody is going to be able to live a nice, friendly life that you live, because we live in a good country and we have it well. And so they want to punish us to let others live well because of some white superiority or a grift that they're doing, and it makes them feel better about themselves. So I have lots of examples that we're going to go through. Before we jump into all those examples, let's hear from today's sponsor, Crypto.com. Let's be clear, cryptocurrency, it's no longer emerging. It's actually here. And this latest move cements that in a really big way. Trump Media just inked a massive $6.4 billion deal with Yorkville Acquisition Corp and Crypto.com, the crypto platform trusted by millions of users worldwide. They're teaming up to scoop up $6.4 billion in CRO, the powerhouse token that fuels fast, low-fee DeFi, staking rewards, and real-world perks like cashback on your spends to establish America's first CRO treasury, Trump Media Group CRO strategy. When it's done, the new company will be the biggest publicly traded CRO holder out there. Want in on the action? Head to Crypto.com today and let's make crypto great again. For more information on the proposed business combination, check out Yorkville Acquisition Corp's public filings. I have an account over there. It is a great site, one of the most popular ones now to trade cryptocurrency. I've reopened my account. I've started dabbling in it again. And if you want to check it out, you can head over to Crypto.com for yourself. And now back to me. So what do I mean by living in the comforting lies? This woman, Going Godwards on X, posted a post that says, and I have to phrase it because she deleted her account. And this is part of an example of what I'm talking about, where they want to live in this little bubble of these feel-good places where they get all the love and attention from other women patting them on the back, and you slay queen and you go girl. And the minute that they have to face the real world, which is men proving polls, statistics, graphs, data of showing how it's not men that are ruining relationships. It's not men that are not wanting to get married. It's not men that aren't wanting to have kids. It's actually women and the left and feminists. When they have to get confronted with real world statistics and information, instead of having an argument, instead of having a moment where they say, you know something, you're right, I was misinformed. Instead of having anything that aligns with that, what does she do? The account no longer exists. She deleted her account off of X.com because she got ratioed into the dirt and she couldn't stand it. Anyway, she had said, the reason why women are single today and the women aren't getting married and women aren't having children is because men are pigs and men are awful and men are they just want to hit it and quit it and all this other stuff. And I replied to it as well as many others. I'll just read you my reply. I said, I firmly believe women judge all men based on the top 10% that they interact with on the dating scene and the bottom 10% that are rude and angry at them online. The rest of the 80% of men are completely invisible to women, yet are still judged due to the actions of the few. And she had, again, posted about a few bad guys that she had dated and a few bad guys that were on the internet. And this is the problem that we have now is its reaction. We know women are only dating the top 10% of men. They state it themselves. There's thousands of videos of why do we have all the sixes? 6 foot tall guy, 6-pack abs, makes 6 figures. Why do we have those videos? Because women themselves came out and said, this is what I demand from a man. So it's women themselves admitting they only date the top 10% of men. And then online where they say, men are pigs, and look at this one response, and they show somebody saying something that's pretty crass, pretty crude, and they reply to it like, this is all men. And then you go look at that account, and it's somebody that has 4 followers, and they have a picture of a woman's feet as the profile picture. And you're like, I don't think that's representative of all men, but that's what they do. if you'll remember the Sydney Sweeney interview that went viral because a woman was trying to get Sydney Sweeney to apologize for her jean ad that she did with Great Jeans. The interviewer, people started making memes of her and making fun of her because she did such an awful job and was trying to get Sydney Sweeney to basically bow down to the leftist ideology, and Sydney refused to do it. And now she's a featured director of GQ magazine. I don't know about you, but GQ magazine used to be kind of a big deal back in the day because it used to stand for Gents Quarterly, except now it's all run by women and managed by women and edited by women and written by women for women. And now all of a sudden, that's it. She only had 1,100 followers. That's how far traditional media has fallen. 1,100 followers. And what happened after everybody was making fun of her and ratioing her for her horrible interview of Sydney Sweeney? These posts are protected. She set her profile to silent, to private. Why not? Why does she not say, I could learn from this? Why does she not say, hey, you know something? I'm not with the popular culture right now. Maybe my ideas are incorrect. Because that would be accountability. And we know accountability is kryptonite for women. So they would rather stand and stay in their little imaginary bubbles, their feel-good closed loops on the internet, getting their dopamine hits from their couple of dozen of fans, versus everybody else in the world correctly pointing out how awful their hot takes are. And so they just remove their social media rather than face the repercussions of the real world. Now I have just a crazy couple of clips. But this again will prove my point. Now, this from Defiant L's. Women say she stinks on purpose because when she goes out, men leave. Now, if you look at this gal, she's thin, which is that's a good start for any woman nowadays. She's actually not fat. But I want you to hear how she compliments herself because she calls herself a pretty woman. And then she sends out the dog whistle to all the other feminists that she's doing this to keep men away from her. Now, I got news for you. There's not that many men coming up to greet you in the first place. Guarantee you that. Anyway, let's hear what she has to say about this. Again, I'll turn it down just a little bit so I don't blow your eardrums out to start with.
Pretty girl who stinks is so funny because I'll be going out, right? And dudes will come up to talk to me and then they just walk away. They don't even get to the first line. They just walk away. Pretty girl who stinks.
Okay, so let's look at this from multiple angles. Number one, she's bragging that she stinks. Now, I don't know about you. When I was a young man and I was trying to date, even if one of my friends after football practice was like, yo, bro, you stink. You got to hit a shower. I'd be like, oh, thanks, dude. I didn't know. And then I'd be embarrassed to all hell. And that was between me and a best friend telling me I smelled like ass, hit the showers. I'd laugh. I'd be like, oh, no, I get it totally. And yeah, I'd be a little embarrassed if somebody had to tell me I stunk and I didn't know it myself. And now you cut to the year of our Lord 2025, and now you have women bragging that they stink, and it's funny because it keeps men away from them. It looks like she lives in a van because she has, I don't know, stickers and glitter and lights on the inside of her vehicle. So my guess is maybe she's homeless living in her van, and she actually does stink. But the point of it isn't her stinking, ironically. It's the fact that not only does she think it's a good idea to go online and brag about it, and then she wants to say that she's pretty and it keeps the men away from her. And why does she do this? Because yeah, girl, slay queen, you're awesome, you're amazing, oh my God, what a great idea. This is top 10 dating advice to keep those awful men away. And so she's ruining her real life. In other words, stinking. In other words, being unsociable. In other words, being non-dateable. Whether that's to men or women, because if men find her stinky, so do women, which means she probably doesn't have any friends. Of course she has a nose ring. You don't even have to ask that. You don't have to ask. Of course she has a nose ring. She's ruining her real world life, the real place that she lives, to get social validation and attention online. This is what I'm talking about detaching from reality to live in their fantasy world. And as a matter of fact, speaking of nose rings, I saw what you said there in the chat. Right here, I have a post about that. Future scientists will one day study the phenomenon of why piercing this specific part of a woman's body makes her a retard. So, yes, this is a thing. If you see this ring, if you see the lips, the cheek piercings, the eyebrow piercings, just understand that you're not going to hear a winning take on anything. Same thing with the bird hands. You see the bird hands, just mute the video, move on with your life. There's nothing good to be found here. Here's another video I have. This is another good example, okay? Now, it's very hard to hear her in the beginning. So I'm going to have to turn this up, and then I got to quickly turn it back down because the guy starts yelling at her. But this woman goes out on social media just to show, hey, there's this guy following me. What's happening, everybody? This is scary. This is crazy. And I want you to listen to the guy's response because they're out on a hiking trail.
I seriously think that this dude is following me.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. I'm following you. I've been following you. You know why? We're on a walking trail. We came from that way. It only goes this way. Of course I'm following you. Duh. Fucking duh.
So just in the beginning, I know that's wicked hard to hear, and I can't crank it up. My volume slide was all the way up. But she just says, what's happening? I think this guy's following me. And they're on a hiking trail. That's the only place he can go. But she has to go social. She has to jump on social media. She must put this attention-grabbing video out there. Oh, look at me, everybody. I'm a victim. Look at me, everybody. Men like me. Look at me, everybody. Look how popular I am. Look how many men want me. And the guy's just like, look, this is the only place to go. Now, Bug Eekman says, good skit. But here's the thing. Is it a skit? Is it, or is this reality now? Part of the problem why we're having all the issues we have with social media is you can say, well, they're all doing it for skits. And I've said this many times before. Let's say every one of these I'm showing you is a skit. Let's just, for argument's sake, every one of these videos I show you is a skit. It still completely proves my point, which is that people will go out and they're an actress in their own world. And they'll go out and they make up all these stories and they make up all this nonsense and they go out and videotape this stuff and upload it online. Why are they doing this instead of making real world art, instead of having real world friends, instead of having real world relationships? And don't get me wrong, because up and coming, I have got fail after fail after fail after fail of these women saying, I'm alone, I don't have any friends, I can't pair bond, my life sucks. It's coming. So instead of actually going out and doing something productive with their lives, maybe finding friends, finding religion, finding somebody to date, their entire life is being poured onto social media. That's all that matters to them anymore is the likes, the affirmation, and the slay queen on social media. I want you to listen to this story. And again, just for argument's sake, I hear you when you guys are like, well, they're all skits now. But that still kind of proves my point, is that they're making these stories and making this craziness up because their real lives suck so bad, they'd rather detach from that and make a fake persona and a fake life and be a fake person with fake makeup filters and fake AI enhancements versus living in the real world. Again, it goes back to Homer's Odyssey. They would rather take their honey lotus, their honey fruit, the lotus plant. They'd rather eat their honey lotus and be in a pleasant dreamlike detachment from responsibility, pain, memory, and striving. It's escapism. So we don't need to even discuss are these skits or not. It doesn't matter. The point is that it all proves my point, which is they're detached from reality.
I'm literally shaking. I need you guys to tell me if I am in the wrong here because I feel like I am losing my mind right now.
Okay, hold on. Let me pause this just a little bit. I got to crank this up a bit. I got to turn up my whole system volume. Let me turn down my voice a little bit now because these are very quiet. All right, let's try this again.
I'm literally shaking. I need you guys to tell me if I am in the wrong here because I feel like I am losing my mind right now. I started seeing somebody recently and I felt like things were going really well. We were going on fun dates. We were talking all the time and he recently started staying over at my house. And I'm pretty weird about my house. I don't usually like having people over here in general, especially men. There have been problems before, but I felt like he understood me, so I thought that it was going to be fine. Fast forward to tonight, okay? We started getting into this little ritual of having tea before bed. And so tonight while I was getting ready, he said he was gonna go to the kitchen and get started on making the tea. I can kind of hear him rummaging around through the kitchen and it occurred to me he probably doesn't know where everything is. He has this jar of spices in his hand and he says that he wants to grind spices for our tea, which fine, no problem. But he has this mortar and pestle. And
Okay, so long story short here, because she's going on and on and on. Long story short, dating the guy, he goes to grind up some tea. He grabs one of her mortar and pestles, and she says, don't use that one. Don't use that one to grind up the tea because I use that one for bones. And he says, wait a minute, bones?
Weird look, like he wasn't understanding. And I'm trying to explain to him, like, I have one mortar and pestle for grinding spices and herbs and things like that. This one is specifically for grinding bones. I don't like to mix the two. He's still looking at me like I'm crazy. And so I show him my jar of ground up bones to help him understand because he just seems really confused. And then he looks kind of scared and he asks, whose bones are these? And I'm like, you want names? I don't remember all their names. I've been doing this since like the mid 1800s and I don't have that great of a memory.
Okay. So I don't even know where to start with this. Is she nuts? Is she really nuts? Does she really believe she's from the 1800s? Does she really acquire bones from somewhere? And did she really grind them into a powder that she holds on her counter? Now, if you know anything about bones, you usually have to kind of cook them, bake them, heat them to very high temperature to get them to be brittle enough you can. But she's trying to obviously imply that she's a witch. Okay, so let's look at the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is she's actually a crazy witch. She's actually gone out and found bird bones or, I don't know, maybe the T-bone from her most recent steak. She heated it in the stove. She ground it in a mortar and pestle, and she saves the bone. Okay, that's worst case scenario. Best case scenario, which is still absolutely horrible, is she's crazy. And she put some flour in a jar, and she pretends to be a witch, and she goes on social media to tell everybody, oh, isn't this crazy? This guy couldn't believe it. I'm a witch, and he didn't want, okay. Either way, she would rather be weird. She'd rather be disconnected. She'd rather be awkward in the real world to try to seem cool and relatable and interesting in the pretend world, in the online digital world with fake followers, and 50% of them are bots, and the other 50% are also crazy people. It doesn't, again, it's irrelevant if these are skits or not. As a matter of fact, if they're skits, they prove my point even better, that women would leave the real world to live in the fake world because the fake world has replaced the real world for them. This will make you a little awkward. This woman says, I woke up stressed. Then I remembered I'm child-free and not at an 8 a.m. Paw Patrol birthday with 20 screaming kids. And she is a large woman, definitely overweight, jamming out in her living room, dancing to music while she posts that she woke up stressed, but then remembered she's child-free, as her 3 dogs lay on the carpet staring at her, jumping around, making an idiot out of herself. Where are we going with this? Now, here's the real world. Oop, okay, that's the music. She's got the music jamming on here. Here's the real world. I know. Now, do we have a picture of her face? Okay. Like, her face is all right. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not saying she's pretty at all. I'm not saying that. Could she find somebody to date? Yes. Well, see, some of you say she's not overweight. I think she is. That's a lot of jiggle in the caboose there, if you ask me. But, you know, some of you are thick thighs, save lives, all that good stuff. Okay, you're into it. But my point is, there are guys out there that would say, yeah, I'd date her. Yeah, I don't think she's fat. I think I would. Okay, but rather than get a date, rather than get a boyfriend, rather than get a relationship, than to live in the real world, she's taken and think of this. She's taken upon herself to wake up, to text, I was stressed, but then I don't have kids around and all this stuff. Then she gets into a bathing suit. Then I'm sure she made sure her dogs were laying in the right position so that they're in the shot as well. They're in the stream as well. And then she's jumping around and dancing like a maniac, like she's happy. Spoiler alert, if you are a man or a woman and you're living a happy life, you're in a good place, things are good for you, you know what you're not doing. You're not jumping on social media, bragging to the world how happy your life is. It's just, that's the truth of it. The happiest people are not on social media trying to convince you they're happy. They just don't. You know what? They're actually happy. They're actually living a good life. They're actually probably sitting around making fun of women like this because they got better things to do with their lives. I'm just going through, these are just the stories from the last 3 or 4 days, guys. So I started finding these stories on Friday. This is 4 days of internet material. I didn't save these up for 6 months to do this video. All day long. A British woman surprises by tattooing the names of the mothers of all her ex-partners. So she didn't tattoo all the men she slept with. She tattooed their mom's name on herself. Question. What? Second question. Why is this a news story? Why is this woman getting an interview? Why is this actually a real thing? Where's the story here? Just a second. Oh no, did I accidentally lose the story? I had the story somewhere. Uh-oh. Oh, here it is. Okay. I have it. Whew, thought I lost it. From the Independent, posted by MSNBC News, MSN. Why I've had all the mothers' names of all my ex-lovers tattooed. I don't even need to read it. It doesn't matter. She went out, she called her exes, she stalked them. Finding the name of her exes, her ex's mothers, was no simple task. She could, for 12 of the names, she could rely on memory and her own diaries or Facebook posts, but some of them she had to call the men and kind of, I don't know, chat them casually and say, what was your mom's name again? And then when they said it, I wrote it down. I did that like in 10 places. Why? Question. And seriously. And I have to assume this is only half of the tattoos. She's probably got the other side. Tattoos. Okay. Again, the story is not about the woman getting tattoos of her previous bedroom partner mothers. That's not the story. The story is, why did she do it? The story is, why is she bragging about it? The story is, why did it go viral? The story is, why did the Independent post this story and MSN further the story on? Why are they not talking about employment issues, immigration issues, financial collapse issues, stock market? Why is that not the discussion? Because this is La La Land. This is fantasy world. This is something, well, I don't have to think about the real world, so here's a stupid story about a stupid woman doing this. DoorDash driver, she goes viral. She shared a driver. She was a driver. She got fired for sharing video of a customer. I'm not going to go into depth on this one, but basically she went viral because she showed up. She was supposed to drop off the food, knock, and then leave. And what did she do? She showed up. She opened the door. The guy's passed out. He's got his shorts around his ankles, or he was in, I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he fell asleep or passed out when he was yanking one off. She takes a video of it, posts it online. Then she goes viral claiming that she's the actual victim and that she has been assaulted. And in reality, the guy didn't move off the couch. He just was passed out, undressed. And she got arrested because she made him go viral by sharing video of him in a compromising position. But she felt it was a good idea to share this online because, hey, everybody, look at me. And maybe the door was open, but it doesn't give her the right to pull out her phone, video the guy, and then put it on social media. Why did she do this? Because the real world doesn't matter. It's what is the world, how is the pretend world, how is social media going to react to this? How is the rest of everybody going to react to this? That's what really matters. Not my real world, the pretend online world, because that's where everybody loves me. In the real world, they don't like me. I got a few more clips of this similar stuff. Well, actually, I got several more clips, but we'll get to the dating stuff. We'll get to the dating stuff here momentarily. Here's another example. This woman says, I've never met one good man in my entire life. Now, has she actually met a good man in her life? Yes. Just statistically, you have to have. That maybe she got public transport and there was a friendly bus driver to her. Maybe she was in the grocery store and a guy said, oh, sorry, let me get out of your way since you're trying to reach those vegetables I'm standing next to. Maybe there was somebody that, I don't know. Anyway, there's a billion. Of course, she's 20 some on and has met a nice man. But why does she go ahead and hate on men? Yes, she has a nose piercing, in case you're asking. Why does she hate on men? Because it's fashionable. Because she'll get the likes, the admiration, the love and attention online because that's most important. And she's going to lie and say, I've never met a nice man. We know they have. But it's pretend world.
And I've never once met a good man. My entire life, going on almost 32 years, okay? I've never met one genuinely good man. Every single man I have encountered has done something absolutely horrific and minimized it. Every single man that I've encountered is a liar.
Every single man has done something horrific. Every man that she's ever encountered has done something horrific. Now, what does that mean? Maybe disagreed with her on her stupid opinion on something. That would put him in horrific. Or is this, as many of you are guessing, clout chasing and getting attention for hating on men? Whoever can hate on men the most wins the internet. Whoever can make men the biggest pieces of shit in the world, you win the most slay queens of the day. That's what it's about. So they'll go out and because I'll tell you right now, in the real world, I guarantee you there's been a guy that she loved head over heels. There was a guy that was super hot she wanted to sleep with. And if that guy asked her, have you ever met nice men or do you really not like men? She'd be like, no, I mean, I like men. And just sometimes they do blah, blah. And, they can hurt my feelings. But I didn't mean I hate all. That's what she's going to say when the second she meets a man she's attracted to. Of course she's going to say that. But what is it here online for the validation of the world? Well, actually, all men are horrible. This is it's all in the pretend world. Get rid of the pain of the real world. I'm going to live in my fantasy land where everybody loves me because I bash on men or conservatives or whatever.
Is a perv and does not see women as humans. Every single man that I've ever encountered is so far up the patriarchy's booty butt. They genuinely think that it's okay for them to not grow past the mental age of 12.
Do you know what's ironic? And this, I always get a kick out of women like this. You guys know, I know that the majority of you don't hate women. I know some of you that hate certain women. I know some of you that say, I hate a lot of things women do. I know there are some of you that say, nope, I pretty much hate all women. I get that. But there's a lot of you that say, I don't hate women. I just hate what they've become. I hate that they sleep around with everybody. I hate how they're judgmental. I hate how they treat men. I hate the way that they're directing the world into the trash can. But she's literally said all men are pervs and want to hurt her, and we know this is hyperbolic grift. We know that.
They genuinely think that having a job is all that they need to do. I have never met a good man. Not my father, I don't consider him a good man.
Shocking. Wow, I bet she had a real good relationship with her father. Press X for doubt.
My brothers, really not good men. My ex, baby daddy, not a good man.
Oh, my ex, my baby daddy, not a good man. You dated him. You let him get you pregnant, which means you slept with him. But he wasn't a good man. That's your fault. That's on you.
His dad, horrible man. His two brothers, one of them is halfway decent, but still don't consider him good. His sister's husband, really shitty. All of my male family members, horrible people. All of my past male colleagues, all of my male instructors, professors, all of them are fucking horrible. Horrible. There is no such thing as a good man. And if you think you're a good man, please explain why.
Okay. Let's talk statistics. Okay, guys. Let's work this out. What's more likely? Every man in the world is bad, 4 billion men bad, or one woman is an awful, evil, insufferable bitch. Which odds are more likely? 4 billion awful men, one insufferable woman. I'm going to go with the one. The odds that the one is more problematic than every single one, I would say that's a 1 in 4 billion chance. But let's steel man this argument. Yeah, Joker, but this is a skit. She's pretending. It doesn't matter. It's more important for her to say the worst things about actual men, real men, her own family members, males of her family, her sister's husband. It's more important to trash all of them to her pretend online fandom than it is to live in the real world. Remember what I said in my little monologue that I typed out. They'd rather get the dopamine hit for being whatever to their little tiny audiences online than live in the uncomfortable real world where maybe she'd be the problem. Maybe she's the argumentative one. Maybe she's the one with attitude. It's easier to live in the pretend world. This is the lady with the car that we did at the beginning. This is the last one. I got a couple more, I guess, and then we'll jump on to the the TDS portion of this. So this woman, okay, this is Karen, and Karen is obviously a white American, and she goes to another country. I'm guessing, I don't know what country she's in, but she shows up and she's shocked that the man with brown skin kind of blocked her in traffic, reaches his hand, she had to race off, reaches his hand into his trousers, pulls out his Congo trouser snake and says, "Sex, please." And she's shocked. She is shocked that this man, that the world works this way. No, I don't think she had an accent. Let's listen.
No, definitely not.
She's British. She sounds British.
No.
Sex.
No.
Please.
What the fuck just happened?
So she drives off saying, what the F just happened? How could this have happened? And what it is she's grown up in pretend land. And I'll play this video. You'll hear her crying and complaining about it for a second.
Back to the start of the day. My morning actually started being properly.
All right, so anyway, she says, my day started out good. We did all this stuff, and this guy kept pulling up and blocking me. And Homath, if you guys know him, Homath summed this up very, very good. And he did say please. That is true. He did say please. But I'm going to read a little something from Homath because he's actually where I found this. And he makes very good sense on this. I think you'll like this description. He says, this video contains everything you need to know about the way the world is changing. The childish white woman who has kindergartner teacher consciousness goes to a third world country and is then shocked at third world behavior. She believes herself to be the accepting of all cultures, but she's never learned what any of them are because she has mommy or kindergarten teacher consciousness. She believes that all human beings everywhere on earth are going to share her values and her morals. She judges this biped by the standards of the culture she was raised in, not the culture she's currently in. This is because she does not know an alternative. This is level 4 or good girl consciousness. I am nice, so we are all nice. Everybody knows what the rules are. And look at how shocked she is at something she had every reason to anticipate. Look at how hard she tries to do the mental backflips necessary to pretend that this was a personal issue and not a genetic or cultural issue. Her consciousness is struggling to center itself at kindergarten teacher. Kindergarten teacher makes sure that all the children get equal snacks and equal time playing with the blocks. She's struggling to give this biped equal snacks. And I think that is, he's got more to it, but I think that is a good way that these women look at the world. Is that she has morals, she has principles, she has rules, and everybody in the world lives by those principles and rules. And if you don't, well, you're the outsider. You're the outlier. You're the one that doesn't fit in as an individual. It's not the culture. Remember, everybody, all cultures are equal. And then when you show them the article about a woman going to India, and she got raped 9 times, and they found her dead in a ditch, and you say, well, is that the culture or just 1 or 2 bad people? Well, just 1 or 2 bad. And then you pull up the news reports of, okay, here's, I don't know, 90,000, 150,000, 200,000 women in a certain area that have been raped. Are those 200,000 bad individuals? Or is it the culture? Well, it's 200,000 bad individuals. Okay, here we have in Afghanistan news stories where the women were raped and the judges decided to stone the woman to death because she should have been in the house and she was allowed herself to be raped. Okay, so who's at fault? The men, the judicial system, the country? the culture. And what happens? Right at that point, when they can't answer, when they can't have an argument, when they don't have any way to make the loops and the odds and ends attach, right? When you say, okay, it's not the individual anymore, it's not the judges and the courts, it's the culture. What happens when she can't connect those dots? And this is almost all women that you see, almost all of them without a doubt. What do? You're just racist. I'm not talking to you anymore. It's obvious that you're racist. And then they storm off, patting themselves on the back. Oh my gosh, I am such a good person. I called that bigot out. Good for me. Zero issues solved, zero problems solved. And then the next time when voting comes up, she votes for the person that allows another million of them to come across the border. And then when it happens to her friend, she says, well, that was just the individual. Then when it happens to gangs, grooming gangs in England, well, that's the government and that's just, and they will never believe it until it happens to them. And even when it happens to them, they'll still pass it off as the individual. That's what happens when you're demoralized. And that's what happens when you have kindergarten grade at, thinking. The kindergarten grade teacher, the mommy syndrome. Everybody play nice or you're not going to get any snacks. And in the meantime, she's going to have the boot on her neck for all of eternity. And they just do not realize it. And she was shocked and outraged and upset because it totally ruined her day without realizing if she'd done her homework, she might not have been wanting to wear this outfit. She might not have wanted to be in that area without a male escort. She may not have wanted to be in this situation. But because she has kindergarten thinking, she didn't ever even anticipate this happening because other people are just like me. And what's the end result? Well, this is an end result. Now, this is a story from several years ago. An AS survivor, a woman that had been raped, and she survived it. She's created these anti-rape shorts. Well, guess what was going viral on X the other day because of the problem that they're having in the UK. This. So now women voted to allow the bad men in, and now the bad men are in, and instead of voting for government that'll now kick the bad men out, women have just said, well, I guess I'll just buy these type of pants so that I can't get raped. This is kindergarten level thinking. This is childish thinking. Because they'd rather do their affirmation, they'd rather get their attention online, they'd rather brag that they're a good person, they'd rather go viral for saying open borders and F the police, and there's no such thing as an illegal person, and we need to let the criminals out of prison because our judicial system is broken. I'll do that online so I can feel good about myself, but also now I have to buy rape pants so that I don't get assaulted. But I'm still going to keep voting. I'm still going to go online and say the same thing. But now I'm just going to do this instead. Because the real world is painful and harsh and uncaring and unfair and awful. But the pretend world where people love me because I'm all inclusive and I say F the police and I say screw ICE. We need to let all the criminals. You've now got Democrats. And, again, not to be all about the politics, but you've got Democrats and left-leaning women saying, I don't care if he's ended the life of somebody. We need to reform him, not put him in jail. I don't care if he was an illegal immigrant and did that. We need to keep him here because going back would be bad, and we need to reform him, and we'll give him a job, and blah, blah, blah. You do know that those men are going to end you, right? Like, they'll probably leave me alone because I've got a hole puncher on my side. But you, little Miss Becky, running through the park at 10 a.m., they're going to go after you first. They don't want me. Well, I don't care. I just think. And lastly, on the whole part of women living in their own fantasy world, I think I've got this sped up 25%. Now, it's not just women. I think there are 2 gay guys in here amongst the group. But let me take this full screen so you can get the full juice of this baby. Here you've got grandma. I think most of these people they're definitely all over 35 or 40. We've got all the pride stuff. What are these people doing? Well, they're protesting the ICE, our anti-immigration, our immigration officers. They're protesting ICE, everybody. And how are they doing it? With pretty signs and dancing. Does this fix anything? No. Does it change anything? No. Does it improve these people's lives in any way? No. Why are they doing this? Let's go viral on social media, everybody. Let's feel good about ourselves. Let's pretend we're doing something important, even though they know they're doing nothing. And so it goes viral. All right, everybody. Go get him, Grandma. And here we go. All right, count it down. Turn and spin and clap. Wow, changing the world. One scrunchy and rainbow yoga pants at a time. Stunning and brave. Boy. These, and you know what's the best part is? My favorite part is when you see people sharing this and they're like, don't get it twisted. These people are as brave as the men storming the beaches at Normandy. As a matter of fact, they're more brave because we know the fascists at ICE will take them down. But they are, this is how they do it. Do you understand how nuts they are? And this is, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just listening, on the bottom left-hand corner, it says from the Fox News channel. This went on the news. This went viral. It's all about kittens and cotton candy. Nothing real. Nothing real to these people. Now, Mr. Thing here in the yoga leopard or zebra striped yoga pants and the hot pink shirt. I think there's him and one other guy down here. There's 2 men in this group. What do you bet after this the guys are like, can we go get a coffee or something? Begging one of these 63-year-old grandmothers to just look at him like he's a man, make him feel like he's a good person. And now we get to let me put my news thing back on here. I got the wrong window. And now let's get back to the real world. TDS. Now, before I get into all of this TDS, I actually have a clip here. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is right here. Listen, I want you to listen to this, guys. They're sending themselves to mental hospitals. They're sending themselves to therapists. They're sending themselves to get professional help because of TDS. Literally because of TDS. And at no point do they... And the reason why TDS is important is it happens to be TDS now. It happened to be TDS a while back. But next time it'll be JDV. They'll have JDV, JD Vance, instead of Trump derangement syndrome. Maybe it'll be JDDS derangement syndrome. Yeah, JD Vance, JDVDS. They'll have JDVDS. TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. So they'll have JD Vance derangement syndrome. It's never going to end. They're just going to, once Trump is done, they're going to plop the new guy that the media hates, that's the conservative, whatever. They'll plop him in there, and then they'll be angry at that.
Jonathan is in focus with me now. So first of all...
Oh, let me play this at 1.25 speed so I don't get whacked for copyright from Fox News, because that's how YouTube works. And I don't want to edit this out of the YouTube video.
Jonathan is in focus with me now. So first of all, identify it for us. You're in a session, and you pick up on what?
Well, Harris, it doesn't take long for me to pick up on this. People are obsessed with Trump. They're fixated. They're hyper-fixated on Trump. And they talk about some of the features of this disorder. They can't sleep. They feel traumatized by Mr. Trump. They feel restless. I had one patient who said she couldn't enjoy a vacation because anytime she saw Trump in the news or on her device, she felt triggered. So this is a profound pathology, and I would even go so far as to call it the defining pathology of our time.
Now, why do these women, mostly women, now, yes, there's some men too, I'm not just going to say that. Why do they get so triggered? Why do they go into meltdowns? Because I'll be honest with you guys, and you know this as well, right? If I take my phone and I put it down and I say, I'm not going to touch that for the weekend, I'm just not going to look at it. I'm not going to turn on my computer. I'm going to go hiking with the dog. Going to go work over at the barn. I got to grab the chainsaw, cut some firewood. Not going to touch any of this stuff. How much does Trump affect me? How much do feminists affect me? How much does the economy affect me? Not immediately, but you know what I mean. If you put down the phone and not looking at it, it doesn't affect you. Why is it that TDS, hold on a second. Why is it that these people are so wound up about Trump? Because they live on the phone. What's happening in TikTok, what's happening in Instagram for the Trump hate and for the Trump derangement and for the craziness, they don't live in the real world anymore. They live in their fantasy world. And part of their fantasy world is hating on Trump and hating on conservatives and hating on whatever, and virtue signaling that online. And because they're doing it, that's why they're going El Loco. So now you've got people going into psychotherapists with TDS. But I want to give you an example of this, okay? This is about a minute 50, so it is a little bit of a longer video. But here you've got a woman that's homeless. She says she's homeless, yet she can afford either a wig or she can afford to have her hair dyed bright pink. And she sneaks into a private property parking spot and sleeps there. Now, is the story about her being a raving lunatic leftist? No. Is it about her pink hair? No. Is it about her sneaking onto the private land? No. It's about the virtue signaling and the recording of a video online, even while she risks getting arrested in the real world. Real world, messy and uncomfortable, homeless lady living in a car. Pretend world, watch how I own these Trump voters. Even though that has nothing to do with the story. Watch.
So I just got the knock. If you are a person that lives in their van or homeless, whatnot, you know what the knock means. Luckily, this time it wasn't the police. So very rarely, maybe once a week, I park and sleep at this large factory parking lot that they don't even use all of. I'm way in the back. I'm underneath the tree. I'm away from everybody. I go there at night. I sleep. I wake up. I leave. But of course, there's two white men that have a fucking problem with that.
Why did she have to mention that they were white? Dog whistle. Dog whistle.
So I recorded them.
Now, if you were to listen to her, you might listen to this woman detailing her life up to this point, okay? And you'd say, if I said, now take away the pink hair, Just take away the way she's speaking. Blah, 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 blah. You might say, what if I say, what do you think she does? You might say HR department, kindergarten teacher, nanny, like, I don't know. But listen to what happened. This is real world. I mean, her giving the interview, her explaining things is a little bit of a real world. Now, what happens when she wants to go viral? Yeah, it is definitely trespassing. What happens when she wants to go viral? Listen to the voice change. Listen to the tone change. Listen to everything that comes out of her mouth. The snap and change is amazing. But now we've got to amp it up for my online world. Okay, everybody, validate me. Watch this. Because that's literally what she says.
Here at night, I sleep, I wake up, I leave. But of course, there's 2 white men that have a fucking problem with that. So I recorded them. This will probably get taken down, but that's fine. Hey, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Hi. Did you vote for Donald Trump? Did you vote for a racist fucking dictator? So what? I'm using your parking lot to fucking sleep. What is your fucking problem? What is your fucking problem? I'm using your parking lot to fucking sleep. I'm way back there. I'm not bothering anybody. What is your problem?
Okay, so this far in the video, the men have virtually said nothing. She's throwing obscenities at them. She's yelling at them. She asked who they voted for. Like, she's just going off on a tirade. And this is the key point. Remember in the beginning, she's like, watch this, guys. I totally own them. Watch this, everybody, as I yell at these men as I'm illegally camping on their private property, but I totally owned them. Oops, I clicked down past it. Here we go.
It's a suspicious vehicle on the property. We need to address.
And you know exactly what I'm doing. I'm fucking sleeping, what most homeless people have to do now because housing is affordable, and I'm clearly disabled, which you can see on my fucking plate. Laugh about it. Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Now, neither one of them are laughing. But if you were just listening, you'd say, are they laughing at her? No. Now, they do start laughing at her when she said that. But she throws, I'm disabled, and I'm living out of my car with my dog, and I'm homeless, and I'm victim, and I'm victim, and I'm victim, and I'm victim. And I just, are you laughing at me? And the guy's like, no, but then he starts laughing when she screams at him about Trump. But this is what I'm talking about, the derangement. They're becoming detached from the real world. She's making up an argument that isn't there. She's making up somehow that she's the victim without them attacking her. It's all in her own mind, and she's making up this story. And why is she doing it? Because she knows she'll get all the other weirdos and crazy people to pat her on the back and say, you told them, and you're awesome, and you're amazing, girl, for sleeping and trespassing on private property, and then yelling at 2 guys that didn't do anything wrong. But in her little online world of all the weird people, she's the hero of the story.
Did you vote for Donald Trump? Did you? There you go. I bet you support ICE too. God, you're gross. I hope no one fucks you.
Now he's laughing. He's like, what is her issue? It's the mental illness. It's the derangement. It's the break from reality.
Ugh. Well, you're not married.
Right now.
You are. I do not care.
The police are being called. They have your plate number.
That's fine. What do you think they're going to do? It's trespassing and I'm leaving. But I had to record you first so I could put it on the internet.
There you go. The cops are coming. She says, that's fine. They can arrest me. I don't care. I had to record you to put it on the internet. So instead of her just saying, you know something, guys, I'll be honest with you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought this was a public area. I just wanted to park for the night to sleep. I didn't realize it was private property. I'll leave. I apologize. You know what? I guarantee you 100% the guys would have said, no, that's cool. That's cool. We didn't know whose vehicle it was. We saw the van with the blacked out windows. We wanted to check it out. It's cool. Now, she might have even gone so far as to say, look, you can just see it's me and my dog. I'm homeless. Is it okay if I just at night park way in the back? because a lot of public places are dangerous, and this is quiet and out of the way, and I do feel safe here. I won't cause any harm. I'm just a 40-year-old lady with pink hair and my dog. I'll even pick up my dog's poop because I have a dog bag. I'll clean up after him. Can I just stay here? I bet you these two guys would probably been like, yeah, as long as you don't get into any trouble or don't, go to the bathroom on the property, you just respect it. I bet they would have let her stay there. But instead of that, she's going to go to jail or at least get a ticket or a fine or something because she was desperate to go viral, desperate to virtue signal to all the other crazies on the internet. That is a detachment from the real world. That is being broken. That is being broken. And again, now remember, guys, I know a lot of you aren't into politics. They're over on the YouTube portion of this. This isn't about Trump. It's not about politics. It's about that Trump is one of the catalysts that has caused them so crazy that not only will they destroy real world relationships, because here's the thing, none of this stuff really affects you at the ground level. Not much of it does, right? But they will destroy the real world in order to virtue signal to their pretend world online.
My best friend of 14 years, literally half of my life, I'm 28, and I asked them who they voted for. They said Donald Trump. And they said, I'm assuming you voted the opposite. And I said, yes. And then my friend texted me and said, will you still be my friend?
Now, for those of you just listening, these are legitimate tears. They're not crocodile tears. These are legitimate tears. And instead of... And she breaks up a friendship with a friend, but that's not the story. It's certainly, but that's not the story. She's literally recording this and uploading it to virtue signal to all her other lefties that she is so strong and so proud and so in on the cult, she will destroy the real world relationship she has for the pretend online one she has.
Half of my life, this person is my best friend.
And then it just goes on. So, now, as far as the politics side, many times the left says the right is in a cult. The right says the left is in the cult. But you know something? The woman that did vote for Trump, she said, will you still be my friend? That's not cult-like behavior. The one that's in the cult said, oh, you did vote for the opposite person? You're not my friend anymore. I'm breaking up a lifelong friendship. The other one didn't say, oh, you voted for Kamala? I don't ever want to talk to you again. You're out of my life. I never want to see you again. That's cult-like behavior. But the story here is the fact that she's verbally vomiting this out on the internet, recording it for TikTok to show I'd rather be in the cult and I'd rather post this on social media to get clout and attention on social media in the pretend world than to keep my real world friend. That's literally what she's just done here. Let me read live chats before they disappear. I forget they go away at the hour. To keep my I forget they go away at the hour mark. Let me go back and read them. Equity says $10. Thank you, sir. Joker, you don't understand. Any single man's actions represent absolutely every man ever, and female action doesn't count at all, not even for the women doing it. I'm pretty sure I understand that's how the women think. Dredd says, why not in the United States we make sundown towns for the criminals and rapists that harm innocents? I'd call it a lot more in the sundown town. I'd call it the wood chipper town. and they can go in. You go in one door in one piece, you come out the other door in a million pieces. Troubadour say, did you see the Wall Street Journal story about a psychologist today? Publication about TDS. It's behind a paywall, but I read a summary on X. Fascinating. Yeah, TDS is real. Now, I did just play that sound clip. Let me copy that for a quick second. Can I see any other of the super tips that went away? Sorry. I always forget to scroll back. Fix-It says breakdance is the Down syndrome of society. And Fix-It says dinner for me on the left. 24 RJ cut ribeye with onions and garlic. Looks good. Okay, I think I missed a couple. I tried to get it at the hour mark, but we were a little bit further in than that. Yeah, let me click the, let me do this in a safe web browser. Make sure you're not rickrolling me or something. Just a second. Let's see, from the Wall Street Journal, is Trump derangement syndrome real? Yeah, it is real. I won't read the story because I did the sound clip, but yeah, it's definitely real. I won't go through all these clips because we're going pretty long here. A liberal woman says she would spit in her Trump voting family members' food. I did listen to the video that she does say that. She's like, I wouldn't do it if I had a cold, but I would spit in their mashed potatoes. This is their own family members. So she would spit in her own family members' food and destroy the real world family she has to virtue signaling online for apparently 13 people. She got 13 likes for that. Record numbers of U.S. women want to leave the United States. 40% of women from the age of 15 to 44 wish to leave the United States because it's such an evil and awful country. Even though they've never been to any other countries, and all the other countries are, if not only mild, like slightly better in certain areas, certainly worse. I've been to 36 countries in my world travels. I can think of 3 or 4 that I would move to instead of the U.S., and it's certainly not for the same reason they would. Okay, here's another one. The crazy eyes. I won't subject you to the whole thing, but I just want to hear you how they're getting through Christmas with a family of Trump voters.
Merry Christmas! What a relief it is that your guy made it safe to say those words again, huh? Phew!
Now, I'm not going to play the whole thing. You guys get the idea. So she goes through.
Almost a year, but I think the new rules stipulate that I tell that.
So she goes through and she puts together almost 2 minutes worth of clips with Christmas music. Why? What are you doing? Yeah, she does have the crazy eyes too. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? I would rather destroy my real world family, making fun of my real world family, for the love and adoration of weirdos on the internet. This is the chick I got the crazy eyes from. I'll full screen this. This is my screenshot that I got it from. And remember what I was saying about when women, when they can't argue with logic, when they can't argue with reason, when they can't argue with sense, what do? They turn into children. They turn into mommies and kindergarten teachers, because that's the only way they can try to make sense of the real world,
If you're offended by minorities talking about their lived experiences, you're the problem.
Also, she's doing the bird pecky hands, the peck hands. Peck, 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 peck.
If you're offended by women saying they're afraid of men, you're the problem. If you're immediately reprimanding instead of listening and understanding,
There it is right there. She slowed it down, and she's talking to you like a child. That's the clapping. Picture her singing this to kindergarten children. That's the only thing she's got going in her head. She's reprimanding you because she's the kindergarten teacher and you're misbehaving because you're not playing along nice with all the other students. That's as high as her reasoning, the reasoning thought she has in her head. That's it.
of listening and understanding, if you're offended by people's lived experiences, you're the problem. Oh!
Okay, there you go. She's a kindergarten teacher. Grown-up children. Same thing in this one. The political beliefs of young men are making them undateable. Let me put back my correct one. I keep forgetting to flip it back over. There, that looks so much more professional. Scrub that doesn't know what he's doing, professional. It's same thing here. She goes online, and who's she talking to? Is she talking to young conservative men on her video? No. Are young conservative men listening to anything she says? No, only to make fun of her in videos like I'm doing right now. Although I'm not a young conservative man. I'm an old grumpy asshole. Close enough. So who's she talking to? She says she's talking to young men. She pretends like she's talking to the young men in the dating world. What's she doing? Virtue signaling to the like-minded women that are crazy like she is. I won't play the whole thing, just a couple snippets.
To a certain extent, these men understand that, which is why they're on their dating apps saying they're moderate, saying they're apolitical, and all of these things, when really we know who you voted for, and that does make you undateable, and it does make you unattractive because you condone terrible behaviors towards women and minorities, and that will never be attractive. If you want better results in dating, I implore you to change that belief system.
So basically, this is the response I was talking about earlier when I say that women are making decisions. Men see that women have gone crazy. That, at one point in time, it was like, well, we'll try to get along. I'll pretend to get along with whatever you want because I'd still like to date you. I'd still like girlfriends. I don't hate women. And then women just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And then men finally broke and they said, you know what? I'm not listening to you anymore. You're impetulant children. You have nothing positive to say about the world. I don't care what you think anymore. And now the response from women is, well, you're not going to get women if you are conservative. You're not going to get women if you voted for Trump. You're not going to get women unless you do what we say. And they try to use this controlling language. And here's the problem they're having. Men are saying no. Men are saying no. I have another couple of examples. I just have one example here of the standards that these women are trying to put forth. The responses to these are brutal. But here's a overweight mother of 3 trying to explain to men what she needs out of a relationship, and she's demanding.
Need to have in order to date me, a single mom of 3 kids. Number 1 is...
Okay, wait. She said, here's what you need to have in order to date me, a single mom of 3 kids. Now, do you think she thinks men are listening to her? Do you think when she lays out this list of demands, she's actually talking to men? She's actually letting all the male suitors that are desperately chasing her, is she trying to let them know what they really need to do to date her? No. What is she actually doing? She's virtue signaling to all the other women, slay queen, I'm amazing, you are too. I may be overweight, I'm a big, beautiful woman. It's okay to be a mother of 3 different babies, daddies, kids, because you're high value. You're amazing, and if no men want you, it's their fault. That's where they are. That's what she's doing. She's making a comfortable lie. She's making a comfortable world. She's eating that honey-soaked lotus. She's eating that honey-soaked lotus, as are all these women, to live in their beautiful world where they don't have to live, where real men don't want anything to do with them, and where the world is harsh and cruel.
These are the requirements that you need to have in order to date me, a single mom of 3 kids. Number 1...
Oh, yes, she has a nose ring, in case you were wondering.
...is that you need to be making at least $130K a year. And you need to have at least 2 side hustles. If you cannot make $130K or more, then you are out of my fucking league. How do you expect to...
I could go on. I won't punish you. The whole thing is just me. I'm amazing. I'm amazing. I'm amazing. This isn't for us, guys. This isn't for us. She knows we will make fun of her. She knows she'll get roasted into oblivion on the internet. by the outsiders, by the evil men, by the stupid conservatives, by those awful trad cons. I don't care what they think, even though they're in the real world. You stay out of it. My little bubble, we're all in here eating honey-dipped lotus. We're surfing the winds of loveliness and vivid dreams and comfortable numbness and unreal reality. This is where we want to be. We're not going to listen to the real world anymore. We don't even recognize you anymore. That's what it is. They're floating on their winds of lies and silliness. I'm going a little long, so another nose ring chick says she demands at least 3 dates before sleeping with a guy. Yes. And she acts like she just came up with it. She acts like she's just recreated dating by saying men need to go take her out 3 times before sleeping with her. Now, she thinks she's rediscovered or reinvented dating. She's actually just found dating from like the 1990s or early 2000s.
Guys, I'm being so fucking serious. The next man that enters my life, he is required to take me out on 3 dates before he gets a sleepover and before he gets my clothes off. Okay, I'm being so fucking for real right now because here's the thing. As soon as you spend the night with a man, not even doing anything, they stop asking you out on dates. Then, once you sleep with them, they don't want anything to fucking do with you anymore.
Surprise Pikachu face. Once you sleep with them, they don't want anything to do with you anymore. You mean you had sex with a top 10%er? And then he moved on to his next prize? Been there, done that. He's done with you. He realizes you're nuts anyway, but you're pretty enough to sleep with. So he uses you for his biological needs. He moves on in life, and she's shocked. Wow, as if that hasn't just happened for all of history. I remember some movies coming out in the 1960s where fathers or mothers were telling their daughters, you know, you don't sleep with men. Men only want one thing, and once they get it, they're gone. Yeah, that was 65 years ago. That was in the movies. But Miss Genius here has just figured out what we've all known since the beginning of time. So to go viral, she's like, oh my gosh, guys, you'll never believe this. I have totally figured out dating. Okay, Jan, sure you have.
Which, like, whatever. I'm tired of men sexualizing me and objectifying me. Yeah, I've made it very easy for them to do that.
Oh, wait, slow that again. Wait. Let me slow. We're going to slow that down just a little bit. Let's play that on half speed.
Sexualizing me. I don't want anything to fucking do with you anymore. Which, like, whatever. I'm tired of men sexualizing me and objectifying me. Yeah, I've made it very easy for them to do that in the past. But, like,
I wish I had 7 more hands to come up. What? You're tired of them doing it, and you know they're doing it, but you've made it very easy to do it, and you know it. So she sees Johnny 10%er, top 5%er, and she's like, do you want to bang me? And the guy's like, yeah. Or she's like, do you want to come over and Netflix and chill? And he's like, yeah. And then she's like, do you want to sleep with me? He's like, yeah. And then she's like, I can't believe he took advantage of me. I mean, I totally made it easy for him to take advantage of me. But how dare he take advantage of me? Now, does she take responsibility for her own bad actions? No, of course not. It's the guys. It's always the guy's fault. So now she's going to make him slow way down and take her on 3 dates. Now, Henry Cavill shows up where she's working as a waitress, and he says, I would really love to get to know you better. Give me your number. They text back and forth. They send some spicy pictures, and he wants to smash. Is she going to say to him, let's go on 3 dates? Now, maybe she does. What's he going to say? I got to be honest with you. I'm really busy with work and stuff like that. I just wanted to come over and maybe I worked till late. I just thought we could maybe get together and, hang out some night. But nah, it's cool. Maybe when I get some free time, I'll get back. I'll reach out to you. And then he goes silent for the next 10 days because he's balls deep in everything else that moves that he's attracted to because they all want to sleep with him. And then she's like, I wonder what happened to Henry Cavill. I haven't heard from him. So she picks up the phone saying, what you doing? He's like, oh, just busy. But look, if you want to hang out, you can come over. I've got a little bit of free time. She's like, all right. And then she goes smashes. So she puts these rules on the internet to virtue signal to all these other women that she's figured out dating. And you guys know as well as I do, we all know it. If the guy's hot enough, if he's successful enough, if he's popular enough, she's going to do it. She's going to do it. It doesn't matter. She can virtue signal all she wants. And you know how I know this? How many times have you guys seen on the dating app profiles? Not here for hookups. Now, back when you could actually have more success on the dating apps, going back, when they first came out, Tinder back in, 2006, 7, 8, 9, whenever it came out. My friends and I used to joke that if it says not here for a hookup, if you got a number and you were interesting and funny, you'd sleep with her that night. 100% guaranteed. She put the not here for a hookup sign so that if you slept with her, she'd say, well, I'm not this type of girl. She had accountability or deniability for her actions. Or she could say, well, I'm really not, but I made an exception for you. They always will monkey branch around it with their little brains. But if it says not here for a hookup, 100% of the time, if you're funny enough and she finds you attractive, you'll get laid that night, guaranteed. And you know how I know that? Because every time it happened, their legs had been shaved. They had freshly armpit shaved. They wore cute underwear that was usually matching with the bras. 100% of the time. They knew before they went on the first date. But that's not what the profile said, because it's virtue signaling.
I'm done. I'm seriously fucking done. Hookup culture is fun for 5 minutes. I miss connection. I miss having feelings.
I miss having feelings. She admits it herself that it's all about just sleeping with hot guys. And then when she starts feeling lonely, and then when she starts feeling sad, then she wants the feelings. But here's the problem. She wants feelings from the hot guys. She wants feelings from the top 10%ers. She doesn't get that. So why is she bothering putting out this video? Is she talking to the men out there? No. This is her diary. Dear diary, this is what I need. But the reason why she puts it online instead of in the Dear Diary is she's going to get 1,000 women that are like, oh my God, girl, me too. I hear you. I totally feel you. Oh, men are the worst. Oh, she gets the validation. The online diary, and I'll go back and for those of you joining a little late, I'm going to read my statement again. It's right here. Comforting performative narratives feel safer than messy reality. It's a digital echo chamber that delivers the sensation of community without any of the obligations. Their fake online self has overtaken the actual self. Their social media timeline is now their diary, their therapist, their friend, and their family that they no longer have in the real world due to choices they've made because of progressivism, feminism, and social pressure. They cannot help it. They can't help it.
I miss being yearned for. I miss yearning. I can't just keep getting obsessed with a man for a week or two and then moving on to the next one. It's too exhausting and it's honestly mentally draining. So seriously, the next guy that enters my life, he has to take me on 3 dates. Not sleepovers, not hang outside his apartment. He has to take me to in-person public activity dates, whether it's dinner, whether it's going on a walk, something. I am tired of a man being like, let's go on one date and then you can come over and you can just come over every time you want to hang out. No.
Yes, but you did it. All of this is her own fault. All of it is her own fault. Female loneliness epidemic. So if you remember Miss Thing here, right? Miss Thing, that here's all the rules to date a single mother of 3. If you remember Miss Thing here, your political beliefs are making young men undateable. So what's happening to the women? I don't know if this has music over it. Let me hear.
Here's something that I don't...
No, okay. What's happening to all the women with all their dumb rules?
Here's something that I don't see anyone talking about, and it's the female loneliness epidemic.
I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but that feeling when you feel like you're alone.
Let me play this at 1 1/4 speed, because most of this is women crying and whining. So we'll do 25% less time of it.
And it can't get any lonelier than this, bro.
I'm 26 years old and I feel lonely a lot.
I feel like I've been chronically lonely since like 2020.
There's just something so fucking lonely about your mid-20s.
But then there are other weekends where the feeling of like loneliness hits even more because I don't have friends.
Society is probably one of the most lonely, most isolating things. I'm in this really weird state where I feel super lonely.
I'm 38 years old. I've never been married. I've never had children. I have 3 cats in my house. Only 2 of them are mine. But it's another Christmas that is about to come and go where my relationship status is the same. And it's crazy because if you had asked me 10 years ago if I would be single at 38, I would have been like, absolutely not.
I've been single my entire life. I'm going to be turning 42 in August. And I've never had anybody love me or desire me or want to be with me.
No one prepares you for the loneliness that you feel in your 20s.
Gonna be completely honest, I am feeling a little lonely.
I have no friends. I am 23 years old, almost 24 in 7 days, and I don't have any friends I can feel like, oh, that is like my absolute...
Nobody likes me and wants to be my friend. You know, like whenever you're just like such an unlikable person, you just don't have any friends.
Because I haven't had friends for as long as I have not had friends, I've just become normalized to what life without friends looks like, you know? And I'm not constantly repeating in my head, you don't have friends, thus this is happening. It just happens because I don't have friends.
Now, why do they not have friends? I mean, when I was in my mid-20s, I had tons of friends. When I was in my 30s, I had tons of friends. When I was in my 40s, I had tons of friends. The only time I haven't had friends is after I sold all my stuff. I moved away from the town I'd been living in for 15 years. I sold everything. I put it in a backpack. I backpacked around the world. And then when I got back, I lived in a new town. I could have made friends once I made it to the new town, but I decided to build a bus and go traveling with it. So it's kind of by choice that I haven't made any new friends. Why are all these 20s, 30s, 40-something women... They're dateable. I know many of you will say just no. Many of them have nose rings. I get it. But you can't tell me that in some progressive cities she can't find a date. You just can't. Like, I mean, we've probably all dated women that are a little harder on the eyes than she is. She could find a date. She could find a date. She probably could find a date. Like, why are they all struggling? Like, she can't find a date, let's be honest. She'd probably find a date. She could find some 60-year-old guy to date her. I mean, all these women would find somebody to date them. Why do they have no friends? Why do they have no dates? Why do they have nothing? Look where they are. They're all on Instagram and TikTok. Actually, all of these are Instagrams. They got the little Instagram thing. Every one of them are on Instagram crying and dear diarying into the camera. Every single one of them. It's because this is their world now. It's the only thing that they value. It's the only thing they have. Here's more of it. I know one woman's in here twice. I don't think any of these are duplicates. But it's like... breaking news, more single, miserable ladies.
Over 50% of women over 40 are on antidepressants. Let that sink in. Half of an entire generation of women medicated just to cope with life. And no, this is not just about a chemical imbalance. It's about what's really happening to women.
I've waited for my husband for so many years, and I'm just getting mad, and I'm about to turn.
Okay, I gotta play this at 1.5 damn times speed, or 1 1/4 because of the music. And plus, they're just crying, so We don't need the whole length of it.
Balance. It's about what's really happening to women.
I've waited for my husband for so many years, and I'm just getting mad, and I'm about to turn 40.
About to turn 40, and she's waiting for her husband still. I'll say it again, not an unattractive woman, a woman that could find somebody. But they just, and again, we do plenty of videos about how they all want to bang Chad, and they all want to date Mr. Perfect. Okay, why aren't they improving themselves? What are they doing instead? They're on social media crying to strangers. They're on social media having breakdowns. It's because the real world is painful, but getting the adulation and the comfort and the love of half people, half bots is better. It's the honey dipped lotus flower.
There's a lot of stress on me right now.
So a lot of my single mom friends have been like, oh, I'm so depressed. And I'm like, well, have you gotten laid recently? And they're like, well, no. And I'm like, well, bingo.
Nose ring, by the way. Nose ring on that one. I don't see a nose ring on this one. Most of these have nose rings. I don't know what it is. But again, once a woman has her nose pierced, all her IQ drips out of the hole of the nose. So she gets it pierced. Over the years, 5, 10 IQ points drop out the hole until she's 45 and dumb as shit, apparently.
I'll be 41 next week. And yeah, I'm going to really tell you the shit. So after the age of basically like 32, that is when you're just going to date people that are coming off of divorce.
I am 50 years old and I have never been married and I don't have kids. And I know that some people think that is a red flag.
I'm 45 and child-free and I regret not having children.
No, I'm not the only person that feels this way. I'm turning 40 next year and I'm single with no children.
You ever have those days at work where you wish you would have married that attorney when you were 27 years old for his children?
Anybody else struggling with dating after their 40s?
Are there any men left out there in this entire universe that prefers a woman in her 40s with a natural body?
No one tells you just how lonely your 40s can be.
I do get very triggered around going to my brother's at Christmas and all the kids being there and I'm the only single person there. And I've started feeling, I mean, he doesn't know this, but I feel I can't help it. And it brings me shame.
So notice in these clips, two things are the important takeaways. Number one, the 20-year-olds are single. They're not dating very well. 30-year-olds single, not getting the dates they want. 40-year-old single, not getting the dates they want. But that's old news. That's old news. What's not the old news, what's important to realize is these women are not doing anything to improve their real life. They're not doing anything to get good boyfriends. They're not doing anything to change their mind. They're not doing anything they're just horrible people. And instead of changing their minds, instead of learning, instead of becoming better people, more tolerant people, somebody that maybe will be not so dead set in their awfulness, instead of doing that, they go online and commiserate. They all commiserate together and have everybody else pat them on the back and say, oh, everybody loves you and you're awesome and it's amazing. And I was going to play this. We're running pretty long here. It's another chick that's like, wow, you know what? All I've been doing is hooking up. She's 24, I think she says. And all she's done since the age of 18 is hook up with guys month after month. And the longest gap in that is 4 months. And she says, I really crave deep love. And through the whole video, she's crying. I'll give you a little excerpt. I'll play this at 1.5 speed. We don't have to listen to the whole thing, but I know you like listening to women commiserate on their bad choices. I won't keep that from you. I will let you enjoy it.
I am not capable of casual hookups anymore, you guys. Clearly, I hadn't hooked up with anyone for 4 months, which is like the longest it's been probably since I've been sexually active. Yeah, and I gave in and I let my guard down, and holy fuck, sex is really sacred. I'm a little bit mad at myself that I shared it so willy-nilly. Holy fuck, I did not realize how much I have been craving a really deep love. I'm a sensitive girl, you guys, holy shit. But now I know. Hookups are not for me. I used to be able, like a year ago, if you asked me all the names of the people I hooked up with, I can tell you.
So she couldn't tell you all the names of the hookups she's had. And now she's like, I'm really sensitive and I shouldn't have done the hookup thing. Gee, if only there were channels like Better Bachelor that has screamed for years for women to keep the body counts low, for women to knock it off. And what happens? They lose the pair bonding. They lose the ability to love. And then when they want to settle down at the age of 35, they've lost the pair bonding. Now, again, we know this. We've been over all this. But they're diarying into the camera to share their commiseration, to share their tears, to share their pain. And instead of learning from their problems, they're doing this because they want to get the, oh, girl, it'll be okay. You'll be all right. Me too. You'll find the right guy. Your Prince Charming will come. And if you don't believe that happens, let me show you this screenshot. I do have a screenshot of it. Let me see here. Where's my screenshot? Did I put it at the beginning? Here. If you don't believe that happens, here's a great example. A guy posts, she left me for another guy when I got paralyzed. These are all women replying. I love it when women do what's best for them. 340 likes. I wonder if you would have stayed with her if it was her. 5,600 likes. So why the hell is she on your mind? Not everyone wants to sign up for the life of being a caretaker. 84 likes. She has the right to leave. LOL, it sucks, but she does. That's so when a dude gets paralyzed, women just trash the dude. Well, we didn't want that. What happens when a woman does it? You think you can hurt my feelings? My ex left me after a car accident where I became paralyzed. So same exact example. He wasn't the right one for you. It looks like you have a fiance who loves you for you. Seriously, he's no man. His loss. You're so strong and beautiful. Wow, that's beyond messed up. His loss completely. This is why women share their stories of pain and woe and suffering instead of bettering themselves. Because it's hard to better yourself. It's hard to become a better person. It's easier to just cry on the internet and get everybody to say, slay queen, you're amazing. You don't know what, he doesn't know what he lost. And then when you get done with all that, you're fried out.
Just went on a first date, and this is no offense to this man, obviously perfectly fine, normal, lovely date. It's getting to the point though that that's the problem. Like there's just nothing happening. And I just feel no sparks and no chemistry with people. And I feel bad because I feel like it's just me. I'm going out with really handsome, accomplished, interesting people, and I feel nothing. I feel
she started to cry there, and I think that's important.
And I feel nothing.
She starts to cry right here. She's going out with interesting, attractive, successful people, and she feels nothing. That's the pair bonding. That's the, she got fried out on the high body count and the bad boys. When you sleep with Mr. Perfect and Mr. Perfect and Mr. Perfect, or even you short-term date them until they bounce, or until you get bored because you're not feeling anything and you need to jump to the new guy, then that's what happens. Is she talking to a therapist? Has she gone to the church and maybe joined a church to try to find guidance? Has she stopped dating and sleeping with people, guys, for a little while to let her body heal? No, what's she doing instead? Crying for sympathy on the internet. She's now gone into her pretend world where she can get the pretend validation.
I feel like I'm just another girl. Like I'm one of a million and there's just nothing special about me. Probably.
Oop, I have a button for that.
Ding, ding, ding. What do we have for her, Johnny?
You're not special. You're not unique. I mean, you're unique as you, but it doesn't mean you can just show up and be pretty and flash your boobs and sleep with a guy and you're going to get him. You have to be a nice person. You have to be a funny person. You have to be someone that guy says, I want to have this woman. You're not that woman.
And there's just nothing special about me. Probably not presenting that great either. Not like that sparkly or interesting or like dynamic at all because I'm just so depleted.
Depleted, depressed, and sad. She's burnt out. And so she doesn't even have fun dating anymore.
know my person's out there, but starting to really question if I even have it in me to find them anymore. I listened to Maisie Neely's book today, and through all of the hardships she had, she just kept going and kept dating and kept seeing people, and I admire people so much that have that in them, because I just don't have it in me. I thought I was safe and I thought I was done, and like having to do this again.
It's now a job for her. It's now a job for her because she's so fried out. You know, when you first date, look, and we talk about this stuff all the time, but when you first date somebody and fall in love when you're a young person, you love them. It's exciting. When you've been through 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people, whatever, it's no longer exciting. It's no longer unique. Okay. And you know what? And I see some of you in chat saying fake crying. Okay. I don't think she's fake crying. Usually when you get the trembly chin and she's kind of ugly crying a little bit, but for argument's sake, because this still proves my point. If she's fake crying, it still proves my point that she's destroyed her real life and she's now pretending to be something she's not on the internet to fake people, strangers on the internet, to get validation. She's not living in the real world anymore. She's, again, detached from reality. That's what these women are. More hate. I'm not gonna go through the rest of these. We get it. I've been going long tonight, so we get it. It's I you know, the funny thing is I have 20 times more bookmarks than we've seen tonight. Here's almost 2 hours of performative BS, of acting out, of being tough, of being strong, of being amazing, of being this, of being that, about destroying their real world, and all for validation and love and attention on the internet. They want the comforting lie, pretend world of the internet than the real world that is painful and hard and real and sucky. And men are struggling in the real world. Men are mad as hell right now about everything that's going on. Men are trying to find ways to fix problems. And the women are still on social media and still out there protesting and trying to validate their feelings instead of dealing with the real problems. And I think that's ultimately, this seems to be a one-way direction. You know what I mean? This seems to be a one-way direction. We either continue letting the women use their emotions and ruin dating and ruin marriage and ruin child custody and protest everything and vote for socialism and you know, put their starfish out on Only Fools making money. We keep degrading. We keep going worse and worse and worse. Or at some point we just, to save reality, to save things, we're going to have to say, no. We got to take permissions away from you. You've gone too far. You're not acting like adults anymore. You don't make sense anymore. You're not living in reality. You're voting against your own best causes and you're ruining yourselves. I don't know what the answer is. I don't even feel like editing this. You know what? I think I'm just going to do this unedited. I'll dump it up on YouTube. They'll demonetize it like they always do, and we'll call it a day. Such is the story of my life. Anyway, guys, if you since you are here, make sure to go over to which thumbnail is it? This one, betterbachelor.locals.com. We've got a group of thousands of guys over there. Great group of guys. You can join everything. It's $5 a month. It just puts us behind a paywall. That keeps the bots out. That allows me to live stream movies and TV shows and do a lot of fun, creative stuff. We usually have between 100 and 200 guys in most of the streams. I do 3 or 4 streams a week. We do stuff like classic, underrated, nostalgic television, where we watch old classic TV shows on Wednesdays. On Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays, we do football. We do UFC fights. We do movies and other great things like that. And so you can hop on over and check it out. It's I think you'll enjoy it. I really do. So come on over and check it out. And the support you give me over there goes towards a good cause. Where's my button? There it is. Goes towards a good cause. And we got a great group of guys over there. And, you know, the other thing is if you're like, I don't have any friends, I got nothing to do on the weekends, I wish I had a closer community of friends. We've got pretty much religiously 100 to 200 guys that show up, know each other by names. They're sharing memes. They're picking on each other. It's a great group of friends. I think that's the biggest. The live streams are great and everything else, but the chat and the interaction during the live streams are the best part. I think you guys would like that very much. All right, gang, I'm done. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you. Oh, Bug Geekman says, from one cis fag to another, have a $5. Thank you very much, sir. Is that what we're being called now? I don't even know anymore. Let's see, did I miss this one? Niall says, women left to their own... am I... Okay, yeah. Women left to their own devices are completely self-destructive. You said it earlier on X, and it's true. This is why every major religion and cultures impose strict guidelines on women as they all recognize their true nature. Yeah, you have to. We're going to have to slap the rules on them because I have true belief that other civilizations have fallen because of the same reason. And so many texts in the Bible and in historical things were like, don't let women come to power. And we did it again, and they're like, you're doomed. You're doomed. Troubadour says 4 months, only 4 months. I haven't had sex in 9 months before my ex dropped the bomb that she wanted a divorce. That was early 2017. Last time I had sex, mid 2017, since I had a Hummer, cried me a effing river. And she couldn't even hold out 4 months. And then she caved to a guy. He hit it and quit it. And she's like, nah, starts crying on film. Spliff says they don't have friends because, as Al Bundy pointed out, don't try to understand women. Women understand women, and they can't stand each other. Yeah, it's pretty crazy out there. All right, did I get all of them? Let me make sure I got all of them. All right, that looks like all of them. All right, gang, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much, as always, for joining me. I appreciate it. I know we went way, way long. I thought this was going to be an hour-long stream, but all these examples are I just think are good examples, so it is what it is. All right, screw you guys. I'm going home. I'll see you later. Check you out in the next one.